Few names in history evoke as much awe and curiosity as Leonardo da Vinci. A true Renaissance man, Leonardo was a painter, inventor, scientist, architect, and so much more. But who was the man behind the masterpieces? What drove his insatiable curiosity? And how did his work shape the world we live in today? This is the story of Leonardo da Vinci, the genius who defied the limits of his time. Early life, the birth of a genius. Leonardo da Vinci was born on April 15, 1452, in Vinci, a small town in Tuscany, Italy. His full name, Leonardo di Ser Piero da Vinci, translates to Leonardo, son of Ser Piero from Vinci. He was the illegitimate son of a wealthy notary, Ser Piero, and a peasant woman named Caterina. While his illegitimacy barred him from certain opportunities, such as attending university or pursuing a career in law, it also freed him from the rigid expectations of his time. This allowed Leonardo to explore his interests freely, setting the stage for his lifelong pursuit of knowledge. From a young age, Leonardo displayed an extraordinary talent for observation and creativity. He spent much of his childhood exploring the countryside around Vinci, sketching the plants, animals, and landscapes he encountered. These early experiences fostered his deep appreciation for nature, which would later become a central theme in his work. At the age of 14, Leonardo moved to Florence, one of the cultural and intellectual hubs of the Renaissance. There, he became an apprentice to Andrea del Verrocchio, a renowned artist and sculptor. Verrocchio's workshop was a melting pot of creativity, where Leonardo learned not only painting and sculpture but also mechanics, engineering, and the basics of scientific inquiry. It was here that Leonardo's genius began to flourish. The artist, masterpieces that defined an era. Leonardo's artistic career began in Verrocchio's workshop, where he contributed to several of his master's works. Legend has it that Leonardo painted one of the angels in Verrocchio's The Baptism of Christ so beautifully that Verrocchio, overwhelmed by his pupil's talent, vowed never to paint again. While this story may be apocryphal, it underscores Leonardo's extraordinary skill. By the time he was in his 20s, Leonardo had established himself as an independent artist. His early works, such as the Annunciation and Ginevra dei Benci, already displayed his mastery of light, shadow, and perspective. But it was his move to Milan in 1482 that marked the beginning of his most prolific period. In Milan, Leonardo worked under the patronage of Ludovico Sforza, the Duke of Milan. It was here that he created two of his most famous works, The Last Supper and The Vitruvian Man. The Last Supper, painted on the wall of the convent of Santa Maria del Grazie, is a masterpiece of perspective and emotional depth. Leonardo's innovative use of light and shadow, as well as his ability to capture the apostles' reactions to Jesus' announcement of betrayal, revolutionized religious art. The Vitruvian Man, on the other hand, is a testament to Leonardo's fascination with the intersection of art and science. This iconic drawing, based on the writings of the Roman architect Vitruvius, depicts a man in two superimposed positions, illustrating the ideal proportions of the human body. It symbolizes Leonardo's belief in the harmony between humanity and the universe. The scientist, a mind ahead of its time. While Leonardo is best known for his art, his scientific pursuits were equally groundbreaking. He filled thousands of pages in his notebooks with detailed studies of anatomy, botany, geology, and engineering. His approach to science was deeply empirical. He believed in observing the natural world firsthand and recording his findings with meticulous precision. Leonardo's anatomical studies were particularly revolutionary. At a time when the human body was poorly understood, Leonardo dissected corpses to study muscles, bones, and organs. His sketches of the human heart, brain, and skeletal system were so accurate that they rival modern medical illustrations. He even explored the concept of blood circulation, a discovery that wouldn't be fully understood until centuries later. Leonardo's curiosity extended to the natural world as well. He studied the flight of birds, the flow of water, and the growth of plants, seeking to uncover the underlying principles of nature. His observations often led to practical inventions, such as designs for parachutes, diving suits, and even a rudimentary tank. The inventor dreams of flight and beyond. Leonardo's notebooks are filled with designs for machines that were centuries ahead of their time. Among his most famous inventions are his flying machines, which were inspired by his studies of bird flight. While none of these designs were built during his lifetime, they laid the groundwork for modern aviation. One of Leonardo's most ambitious projects was the ornithopter, a machine designed to mimic the flapping wings of birds. He also sketched designs for a parachute and a glider, demonstrating his understanding of aerodynamics. Although these inventions were never realized, they reflect Leonardo's boundless imagination and his belief in the possibility of human flight. Leonardo's engineering prowess extended to other areas as well. He designed a self-propelled cart, often considered a precursor to the automobile, and a robotic knight, which could move its arms and legs. He also created plans for a revolving bridge, a machine for grinding lenses, and even a primitive calculator. The later years, a legacy unfinished. In 1516, Leonardo left Italy for France, where he was invited by King Francis I to work as the premier painter and engineer and architect to the king. He spent his final years at the Château du Clos-Luz, near the royal residence of Amboise. Despite his declining health, Leonardo continued to work on his inventions and studies, though he completed few new paintings during this time. Leonardo da Vinci passed away on May 2, 1519, at the age of 67. He was buried in the chapel of St. Hubert in Amboise, though the exact location of his remains is uncertain. At the time of his death, many of his projects were left unfinished, a testament to his perfectionism and relentless pursuit of knowledge. Leonardo's legacy, the eternal Renaissance man. Leonardo da Vinci's impact on the world cannot be overstated. His art continues to captivate audiences, with the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper remaining among the most celebrated works in history. His scientific discoveries and inventions, though often unrealized in his lifetime, laid the foundation for countless advancements in fields ranging from anatomy to engineering. But perhaps Leonardo's greatest legacy is his example of what it means to be a Renaissance man, a person who seeks to understand the world in all its complexity. Leonardo's insatiable curiosity, his willingness to question conventional wisdom, and his ability to see connections between art and science continue to inspire us today. Leonardo once wrote, "Learning never exhausts the mind." His life was a testament to this belief, a reminder that the pursuit of knowledge is a lifelong journey. As we marvel at his achievements, we are reminded of the power of creativity, curiosity, and the human spirit. Leonardo da Vinci's story is more than just a biography. It's an invitation to dream, to explore, and to push the boundaries of what is possible. His life challenges us to ask questions, to seek answers, and to never stop learning. So the next time you look at a painting, study the stars, or marvel at a technological innovation, remember the man who dared to dream beyond the boundaries of his time, Leonardo da Vinci. And ask yourself, what will you create? How will you leave your mark on the world? Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life of one of history's greatest minds. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to share it with others who might be inspired by Leonardo's story. After all, the spirit of the Renaissance lives on in all of us. Michelangelo Buonarroti, one of the most influential artists in history, was born on March 6, 1475, in Caprese, a small village in Tuscany, Italy. His name is synonymous with the Renaissance, a period of extraordinary cultural and artistic rebirth in Europe. Michelangelo's life was a testament to the power of creativity, perseverance, and genius. Today, we delve into the story of this remarkable man, exploring his early years, his rise to fame, his personal struggles, and the enduring legacy he left behind. Early life, the making of a genius. Michelangelo was born into a family of modest means. His father, Ludovico Buonarroti, was a government official, and his mother, Francesca di Neri del Miniato di Siena, passed away when Michelangelo was just 6 years old. Despite his father's hopes that he would pursue a career in business or law, Michelangelo showed an early aptitude for art. At the age of 13, he became an apprentice to Domenico Ghirlandaio, one of Florence's leading painters. Ghirlandaio's workshop provided Michelangelo with a solid foundation in drawing and painting, but it was sculpture that truly captured his imagination. In 1489, Michelangelo's talent caught the attention of Lorenzo de' Medici, the ruler of Florence and a great patron of the arts. Lorenzo invited Michelangelo to live and study in the Medici Gardens, where he was exposed to classical sculpture and the works of ancient masters. This period was formative for Michelangelo, as he honed his skills and developed his unique style. It was also during this time that he created his earliest surviving works, including the Madonna of the Stairs and the Battle of the Centaurs, which showcased his extraordinary talent and attention to detail. Rise to fame. The early masterpieces. Michelangelo's career took off in the late 1490s, when he moved to Rome, the cultural and political center of Italy. In 1498, at the age of 23, he received a commission from Cardinal Jean de Villers to create a sculpture for the cardinal's tomb. The result was the Pietà, a breathtaking marble statue of Mary cradling the body of Christ. The piece, now housed in St. Peter's Basilica, is celebrated for its emotional depth and technical brilliance. Michelangelo's ability to convey the tenderness and sorrow of the scene through the cold, hard medium of marble was nothing short of revolutionary. In 1501, Michelangelo returned to Florence, where he was commissioned to create a statue of the biblical hero David for the city's cathedral. The result was David, a colossal marble statue that stands over 17 feet tall. Completed in 1504, David is a masterpiece of human anatomy and Renaissance ideals. The statue's perfect proportions, intricate details, and sense of movement made it an instant icon, and it remains one of the most famous sculptures in the world. The Sistine Chapel, a monumental achievement. In 1508, Michelangelo was commissioned by Pope Julius II to paint the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in Rome. The project was daunting. The ceiling spanned over 5,000 square feet and required Michelangelo to work in the challenging medium of fresco. Despite having little experience as a painter, Michelangelo accepted the challenge, driven by his desire to prove himself as an artist. For 4 years, Michelangelo worked tirelessly on the Sistine Chapel ceiling, often lying on his back for hours at a time. The result was a series of frescoes depicting scenes from the Book of Genesis, including the creation of Adam, the fall of man, and the Great Flood. The most famous of these is the creation of Adam, where the outstretched hands of God and Adam have become an iconic symbol of human creativity and divine inspiration. Michelangelo's work on the Sistine Chapel ceiling was a monumental achievement, both technically and artistically. His use of color, composition, and perspective transformed the ceiling into a masterpiece of Renaissance art. The project also cemented Michelangelo's reputation as one of the greatest artists of his time. Personal struggles. The man behind the masterpieces. Despite his artistic success, Michelangelo's life was marked by personal struggles. He was known for his tempestuous personality, often clashing with patrons, rivals, and even his own family. His letters and poems reveal a man deeply conflicted, torn between his faith, his art, and his desire for perfection. Michelangelo's relationship with the Medici family, his early patrons, was particularly complex. While he owed much of his early success to their support, he also found himself caught in the political turmoil of Florence. In 1527, the city revolted against Medici rule, and Michelangelo was tasked with designing fortifications to defend the city. When the Medici regained power, Michelangelo was forced to flee, leaving behind unfinished projects and broken relationships. In his later years, Michelangelo turned to poetry as a way to express his inner turmoil. His sonnets, often addressed to his close friend Vittoria Colonna, reveal a man grappling with doubt, mortality, and the pursuit of perfection. One of his most famous poems reads, "My soul can find no staircase to heaven, unless it be through earth's loveliness." These words capture Michelangelo's lifelong quest to find meaning and beauty in the world around him. Architectural genius. The later years. In the final decades of his life, Michelangelo shifted his focus to architecture. In 1546, he was appointed chief architect of St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, a project that would occupy him until his death. Michelangelo's design for the basilica's dome was revolutionary, combining classical and Renaissance elements to create a structure that was both grand and harmonious. Though he did not live to see its completion, his vision for the basilica remains one of the most recognizable landmarks in the world. Michelangelo's architectural genius extended beyond St. Peter's. He also designed the Laurentian Library in Florence, a masterpiece of Mannerist architecture, and the Piazza del Campidoglio in Rome, a public square that redefined urban design. These projects showcased Michelangelo's ability to blend form and function, creating spaces that were both beautiful and practical. Legacy. The timeless genius of Michelangelo. Michelangelo died on February 18, 1564, at the age of 88. He was buried in Florence, the city he loved, in a tomb designed by his peers. His legacy, however, lives on. Michelangelo's works continue to inspire awe and admiration, not just for their technical brilliance, but for their emotional depth and humanity. One of the most remarkable aspects of Michelangelo's legacy is his ability to transcend time and culture. His works speak to universal themes: love, loss, faith, and redemption that resonate with people of all backgrounds. Whether it's the tender embrace of the Pietà, the heroic strength of David, or the divine spark in the creation of Adam, Michelangelo's art has the power to move and inspire. Michelangelo's influence extends far beyond his lifetime. His innovative techniques and profound insights into the human condition have inspired countless artists, from the old masters to contemporary painters. His works continue to be studied, admired, and celebrated in museums and galleries around the world. Michelangelo Buonarroti was more than just an artist. He was a visionary who redefined the boundaries of art and creativity. His life was marked by extraordinary achievements and profound struggles, but through it all, he remained dedicated to his craft. Today, Michelangelo's works stand as a testament to his genius, his humanity, and his enduring legacy. As we reflect on Michelangelo's life and work, we are reminded of the power of art to illuminate the human experience. His sculptures, paintings, and architectural designs continue to captivate and inspire, offering us a glimpse into the mind and heart of one of history's greatest artists. Michelangelo's legacy is not just a collection of masterpieces. It is a celebration of creativity, resilience, and the timeless beauty of the human spirit. Rembrandt van Rijn, one of the most celebrated artists in history, was born on July 15, 1606, in Leiden, a bustling city in the Dutch Republic. His name is synonymous with the Dutch Golden Age, a period of extraordinary cultural, scientific, and economic flourishing in the Netherlands. Rembrandt's life was a tapestry of artistic brilliance, personal triumphs, and profound struggles. Today, we delve into the story of this remarkable man, exploring his early years, his rise to fame, his personal tragedies, and the enduring legacy he left behind. Early life. The making of a master. Rembrandt was the ninth child of Harmen Gerritsen van Rijn, a prosperous miller, and Neeltgen Willemsdochter van Zoutbroek, the daughter of a baker. His family was well off, and Rembrandt received a solid education. At the age of 14, he enrolled at the University of Leiden, but his passion for art soon took precedence over academic pursuits. Recognizing his talent, his parents apprenticed him to Jacob van Swanenburg, a local artist, where Rembrandt spent 3 years learning the basics of painting. In 1624, Rembrandt moved to Amsterdam to study under Peter Lastman, a renowned history painter. Lastman's influence is evident in Rembrandt's early works, which often depicted biblical and mythological scenes. After 6 months, Rembrandt returned to Leiden and opened his own studio, quickly gaining a reputation as a skilled artist. By the age of 22, he was already taking on students, a testament to his growing prominence. Rise to fame. The Amsterdam years. In 1631, Rembrandt moved to Amsterdam, the thriving cultural and economic center of the Dutch Republic. The city was a hub of trade, science, and art, and Rembrandt's arrival marked the beginning of his meteoric rise to fame. He quickly established himself as a leading portraitist, capturing the likenesses of Amsterdam's wealthy merchants, politicians, and intellectuals. One of his earliest major commissions was the anatomy lesson of Dr. Nicolaas Tulp, 1632, a group portrait that showcased Rembrandt's ability to combine realism with dramatic storytelling. The painting depicts Dr. Tulp, a prominent physician, conducting a public dissection. Rembrandt's use of light and shadow, known as chiaroscuro, draws the viewer's eye to the central figures, creating a sense of depth and movement. This masterpiece solidified Rembrandt's reputation as a master of his craft. During this period, Rembrandt also began to explore other genres, including history paintings, biblical scenes, and landscapes. His works were characterized by their emotional depth, meticulous detail, and innovative techniques. He was not afraid to experiment, often using unconventional compositions and lighting to convey mood and narrative. Personal life, love, loss, and family. In 1634, Rembrandt married Saskia van Wylenburg, the cousin of his art dealer. Saskia came from a wealthy family, and her dowry provided Rembrandt with financial stability. The couple's marriage was a happy one, and Saskia became Rembrandt's muse, appearing in many of his paintings and drawings. Together, they had 4 children, but only one, Titus, survived infancy. Tragically, Saskia died in 1642, likely from tuberculosis, leaving Rembrandt devastated. Her death marked a turning point in his life, both personally and professionally. Around the same time, Rembrandt completed The Night Watch, 1642, one of his most famous works. This monumental group portrait depicts a militia company in motion, with Rembrandt's signature use of light and shadow creating a dynamic, almost theatrical effect. While the painting was a technical triumph, it also marked the beginning of Rembrandt's financial decline. Financial struggles, a life in turmoil. Despite his artistic success, Rembrandt lived beyond his means. He had a penchant for collecting art, curiosities, and expensive costumes, which he used as props in his paintings. His lavish lifestyle, combined with a series of poor investments, led to mounting debts. In 1656, Rembrandt was declared bankrupt, and he was forced to sell his house, his collection, and even Saskia's grave. The years following his bankruptcy were difficult. Rembrandt moved to a modest rented house on the outskirts of Amsterdam, where he continued to paint, etch, and draw. His later works, such as The Jewish Bride, circa 1665, and The Return of the Prodigal Son, circa 1668, are characterized by their emotional intensity and profound humanity. These paintings reflect Rembrandt's deep understanding of the human condition, as well as his ability to convey complex emotions through subtle gestures and expressions. Later years, a legacy of introspection. In his final years, Rembrandt turned increasingly to self-portraiture, creating a series of raw and introspective works that reveal his aging face and weary soul. These self-portraits are not just records of his physical appearance. They are profound explorations of identity, mortality, and the passage of time. Rembrandt's ability to confront his own vulnerability with such honesty and depth is one of the reasons his work continues to resonate with viewers today. Rembrandt died on October 4, 1669, at the age of 63. He was buried in an unmarked grave, a stark contrast to the fame and fortune he had once enjoyed. Despite his financial struggles, Rembrandt left behind an extraordinary body of work, including over 300 paintings, 300 etchings, and 2,000 drawings. His influence on the art world is immeasurable, and his legacy endures to this day. Rembrandt's artistic style and innovations. Rembrandt's art is celebrated for its technical mastery, emotional depth, and innovative use of light and shadow. He was a pioneer of chiaroscuro, a technique that uses strong contrast between light and dark to create a sense of volume and drama. This approach is evident in works like The Night Watch and The Anatomy Lesson of Dr. Nicolaes Tulp, where light is used to guide the viewer's eye and enhance the narrative. Rembrandt was also a master of etching, a printmaking technique that involves incising lines into a metal plate. His etchings, such as Christ Healing the Sick, circa 1649, are renowned for their intricate detail and expressive quality. Rembrandt's ability to capture texture, light, and emotion in this medium is unparalleled. Another hallmark of Rembrandt's style is his focus on the human experience. Whether depicting biblical scenes, historical events, or everyday life, Rembrandt's works are imbued with a sense of empathy and understanding. His portraits, in particular, are celebrated for their psychological depth, as he sought to capture not just the physical likeness of his subjects, but their inner essence. Rembrandt's enduring legacy. Rembrandt's influence extends far beyond his lifetime. His innovative techniques and profound insights into the human condition have inspired countless artists, from the old masters to contemporary painters. His works continue to be studied, admired, and celebrated in museums and galleries around the world. One of the most remarkable aspects of Rembrandt's legacy is his ability to transcend time and culture. His paintings speak to universal themes: love, loss, faith, and redemption that resonate with people of all backgrounds. Whether it's the tender embrace of the Jewish bride, the dramatic intensity of the Night Watch, or the raw vulnerability of his self-portraits, Rembrandt's art has the power to move and inspire. Rembrandt van Rijn was more than just an artist. He was a visionary who pushed the boundaries of his craft and explored the depths of the human soul. His life was marked by extraordinary achievements and profound struggles, but through it all, he remained dedicated to his art. Today, Rembrandt's works stand as a testament to his genius, his humanity, and his enduring legacy. As we reflect on Rembrandt's life and work, we are reminded of the power of art to illuminate the human experience. His paintings, etchings, and drawings continue to captivate and inspire, offering us a glimpse into the mind and heart of one of history's greatest artists. Rembrandt's legacy is not just a collection of masterpieces. It is a celebration of creativity, resilience, and the timeless beauty of the human spirit.
Claude Monet, a name synonymous with the Impressionist movement, revolutionized the art world with his innovative approach to painting. Known for his dedication to capturing the fleeting effects of light and color, Monet's work continues to inspire and captivate audiences worldwide. Born on November 14, 1840 in Paris, Monet's journey from a young boy with a passion for art to one of history's most celebrated painters is a story of perseverance, innovation, and artistic genius. Early life and artistic beginnings, Claude Monet, christened Oscar Claude Monet, entered the world in a bustling neighborhood in Paris. As the second son of Claude Adolphe and Louise Justine Aubray Monet, his early life was steeped in the culture and vibrancy of the city. However, in 1845, the family relocated to Le Havre, a picturesque town in Normandy. This move proved pivotal in shaping Monet's artistic vision, as the coastal landscapes of Normandy became a recurring theme in his later works. Despite his father's hopes for him to join the family grocery business, Monet's passion for art was undeniable. His mother, a singer, perhaps nurtured his creative inclinations. By 1851, Monet had enrolled at the Le Havre Secondary School of the Arts, where he began to gain recognition for his charcoal caricatures. These early works, sold for 10 to 20 francs, marked the beginning of his artistic career. Under the mentorship of Jacques-François Auchard and later Eugène Boudin, Monet mastered the techniques of oil painting and plein-air outdoor painting, laying the foundation for his groundbreaking contributions to Impressionism, the Paris years and the birth of Impressionism. Monet's journey took him to Paris, where he immersed himself in the city's vibrant art scene. Unlike many contemporaries who copied the works of old masters at the Louvre, Monet chose to paint the world outside the museum's windows. During this period, he befriended artists like Edouard Manet, Pierre-Auguste Renoir, and Alfred Sisley, who would later become key figures in the Impressionist movement. In 1861, Monet's life took an unexpected turn when he joined the 1st Regiment of African Light Cavalry in Algeria. His military service, cut short by typhoid, ended thanks to the intervention of his aunt, Marie-Jeanne Lecadre. She secured his release on the condition that he pursue formal art training. Disenchanted with traditional art education, Monet found inspiration under Charles Gleyre in Paris, where he refined his techniques and began experimenting with light and color. Monet's painting, Camille, or The Woman in the Green Dress, 1866, brought him significant recognition. Featuring his future wife, Camille Dancieux, the work showcased his unique style and emotional depth. Despite personal and financial struggles, including an attempt to end his life in 1868, Monet's determination to pursue his vision never wavered. Impressionism and artistic breakthroughs. The Franco-Prussian War in 1870 forced Monet to seek refuge in England, where he immersed himself in the works of John Constable and J.M.W. Turner. These artists' groundbreaking use of light and atmospheric effects profoundly shaped Monet's artistic philosophy. Turner's ability to evoke mood through luminous, ethereal scenes inspired Monet to push the boundaries of his craft. This period of exile also provided Monet with the opportunity to observe and experiment with the unique interplay of London's fog and light, themes that would later echo in his series on the Houses of Parliament. Upon returning to France, Monet settled in Argenteuil, a picturesque village along the Seine River, which became a haven for his creativity. Surrounded by fellow Impressionists, including Pierre-Auguste Renoir and Alfred Sisley, Monet thrived in this collaborative environment. His works from this era, such as Woman with a Parasol and the Japanese Bridge, exemplify his innovative techniques. Monet's use of broken color, rapid brushstrokes, and a focus on capturing transient moments of light and shadow revolutionized traditional art. His painting Impression Sunrise, exhibited in 1874, not only gave the Impressionist movement its name, but also symbolized a radical departure from academic art, emphasizing emotion and immediacy over detail. Personal struggles and triumphs. Monet married Camille Dancieux in 1870, and the couple shared a life filled with both joy and hardship. Camille's beauty and presence were a source of inspiration for many of Monet's works, including the iconic Woman in the Green Dress. However, their life was marked by financial struggles and Camille's deteriorating health, which culminated in her untimely death in 1879. This loss devastated Monet, plunging him into a period of profound grief. Despite these challenges, Monet's resilience and dedication to his art shone through. During this time, he began creating series paintings, such as Haystacks and Rouen Cathedral, which explored the dynamic interplay of light, color, and atmosphere across different times of day and seasons. These works demonstrated not only his technical brilliance, but also his ability to convey the emotional and spiritual essence of his subject. Monet's innovative approach to series painting laid the groundwork for future art movements like post-impressionism and abstract expressionism, influencing artists such as Vincent van Gogh and Jackson Pollock. Through his art, Monet transformed personal tragedy into creative triumph, leaving an indelible mark on the world of painting. Giverny, a creative haven. In 1883, Monet moved to Giverny, a small village in Upper Normandy, where he would spend the rest of his life. Renting a house with a large garden, Monet transformed the property into a living masterpiece. Over time, he purchased the estate and expanded the gardens, creating the iconic water lily pond and Japanese bridge that became central to his work. Giverny provided Monet with endless inspiration. His water lily series, painted over 3 decades, remains a testament to his ability to merge art and nature seamlessly. The gardens at Giverny became a symbol of his dedication to beauty and innovation, attracting visitors and admirers from around the world. Monet's meticulous care for his gardens mirrored his approach to painting. Both were labors of love that required patience and an unyielding commitment to perfection. Later years and legacy. The early 20th century brought both triumphs and challenges for Monet. Despite losing his second wife, Alice Hochaday, and his son Jean, he continued to paint, even as cataracts impaired his vision. Remarkably, Monet adapted his techniques to his changing perception of color, producing works with a unique vibrancy and depth. During World War I, Monet's series of Weeping Willow paintings honored fallen French soldiers, showcasing his patriotism and resilience. After undergoing cataract surgery in 1923, he revisited some of his earlier works, adding new layers of color and detail. Monet's unwavering commitment to his craft, even in the face of adversity, solidified his place as a pioneer of modern art. Monet passed away on December 5, 1926, at the age of 86, leaving behind a legacy that transcended his time. He was laid to rest in the Giverny Church Cemetery, as per his wishes, in a simple ceremony attended by close friends and family. Claude Monet's life and work embody the spirit of artistic innovation and perseverance. From his humble beginnings in Normandy to his transformative years in Giverny, Monet's journey was marked by a relentless pursuit of beauty and expression. His contributions to the Impressionist movement not only redefined the art world, but also inspired generations of artists to see the world through new eyes. Today, Monet's legacy lives on in his timeless masterpieces and the gardens of Giverny, which continue to draw visitors from around the globe. As we reflect on his life, we are reminded of the power of art to capture the essence of human experience and the enduring beauty of the natural world. Monet's influence is evident not only in the works of countless artists who followed, but also in the way we perceive and appreciate the world around us. Thanks for joining us on this journey through Claude Monet's incredible life and legacy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to explore more inspiring stories of art and history. Jackson Pollock, the trailblazer of abstract expressionism, redefined the landscape of modern art with his innovative methods and intense emotional depth. His work bridged the gap between American art and European modernism, setting a new global standard for creativity and originality. Pollock's dynamic personality and radical artistic approach not only made him a cultural icon, but also cemented his legacy as one of the most influential painters of the 20th century. Early life Jackson Pollock was born on January 28, 1912 in Cody, Wyoming, as the youngest of 5 brothers. His family frequently moved across Arizona and California due to his father Leroy Pollock's work as a farmer and land surveyor. These moves exposed young Pollock to the vast, rugged landscapes of the American West and the rich culture of Native American tribes. During his father's surveying trips, Pollock encountered Native American art, particularly sand painting and ceremonial designs. While he never explicitly imitated this style, Pollock admitted that these early exposures likely shaped his artistic instincts. His turbulent childhood and family dynamics also influenced the emotionally charged and often chaotic energy that later defined his work. Learning from Benton. In 1929, Pollock moved to New York City to study at the Students' League under Thomas Hart Benton, a prominent regionalist painter. Benton's focus on movement and dynamic composition deeply influenced Pollock's early work. Pollock admired Benton's ability to narrate stories through art, a skill he would later adapt in his own abstract and symbolic way. Pollock's time under Benton's mentorship coincided with the rise of the Mexican muralist movement. Artists like Diego Rivera, José Clemente Orozco, and David Alfaro Siqueiros inspired Pollock with their bold, large-scale works. These influences helped Pollock develop a sense of scale and drama that became central to his later masterpieces. Impact of Picasso. A pivotal moment in Pollock's artistic journey came in 1939 when the Museum of Modern Art in New York exhibited Picasso 40 years of his art. The exhibit showcased over 300 works, including Picasso's iconic anti-war mural Guernica. Pollock was captivated by Picasso's fearless exploration of form, symbolism, and abstraction. This exposure marked a turning point in Pollock's career. While he had previously focused on regionalism and surrealism, he began to incorporate semi-abstract and totemic imagery into his work. These experiments laid the foundation for his eventual break from traditional forms and his embrace of pure abstraction. Emergence of abstract expressionism. The aftermath of World War II saw the rise of abstract expressionism, a movement born from the anxieties and uncertainties of the modern world. Centered in New York City, it became the first American art movement to gain international acclaim. Jackson Pollock emerged as its leading figure, channeling the existential concerns of the era into his groundbreaking works. Pollock's art reflected the chaos and vulnerability of human existence. His pieces were not just paintings, but visceral experiences that conveyed the raw emotions of modern life. This new approach to art emphasized the process as much as the finished product, challenging the conventions of traditional painting. The drip technique. By the mid-1940s, Pollock introduced his revolutionary drip technique, which forever changed the course of modern art. Unlike traditional methods, Pollock laid his canvases flat on the floor or against a wall. He would then drip, pour, or splatter paint onto the surface using tools like sticks, trowels, and even his hands. This approach allowed Pollock to physically engage with his work, making the act of painting a dynamic performance. The randomness of the drips and splashes created intricate layers of texture and movement, capturing the energy and spontaneity of his creative process. His statement, "The painting has a life of its own. I try to let it come through," encapsulated this philosophy. The all-over style, Pollock's all-over style, rejected traditional focal points and composition. His works featured a continuous web of paint that extended across the entire canvas, creating a sense of infinite depth and complexity. This technique emphasized the unity of the artwork as a whole, rather than drawing attention to specific elements. In this style, the size of the canvas became irrelevant. Pollock often trimmed or cropped his works to achieve the desired visual balance, further highlighting his disregard for conventional boundaries. The all-over style became one of Pollock's defining contributions to modern art. Fame and media attention. Pollock's radical methods and enigmatic persona quickly attracted public attention. In 1949, Life magazine featured him in an article titled "Jackson Pollock, Is He the Greatest Living Painter in the United States?" The piece alternated between admiration and skepticism, reflecting the polarizing nature of his work. The media frenzy elevated Pollock to celebrity status, making him a symbol of avant-garde art. Fashion magazines like Vogue even used his paintings as backdrops for photo shoots, blending high art with popular culture. However, Pollock himself struggled with the pressures of fame, often questioning the direction and reception of his art. Evolution of style. In the early 1950s, Pollock shifted away from his drip technique, exploring darker themes and more subdued colors. This period, known as his black pourings, featured works created on unprimed canvases using black paint. Later, Pollock revisited color and figurative elements, creating works that combined his earlier abstract style with newfound depth. This phase reflected his continuous search for meaning and innovation in his art. Personal struggles. Despite his professional success, Pollock's personal life was marked by turmoil. He struggled with alcoholism, which often strained his relationships and disrupted his work. His marriage to artist Lee Krasner was both a source of support and tension, as Krasner balanced her own career with managing Pollock's volatile behavior. His battles with addiction and self-doubt added a layer of complexity to his already intense persona, making him a tragic, yet compelling figure in the art world. Tragic end. On August 11, 1956, Pollock died in a car accident at the age of 44. The crash occurred near his home in Springs, New York, and claimed the life of one of his passengers. Pollock's sudden death shocked the art community and marked the end of a brief but extraordinary career. Like many artists who died young, Pollock's untimely demise contributed to his mythic status. His life and work became a symbol of the tortured genius, forever linking his artistic achievements to his personal struggles. Legacy. Jackson Pollock's influence on modern art cannot be overstated. His innovative techniques and bold defiance of convention paved the way for future generations of artists. By emphasizing the process of creation, Pollock inspired movements like action painting and color-field painting, reshaping the possibilities of artistic expression. Pollock's work also elevated abstract expressionism as a global movement, positioning New York as the new epicenter of modern art. His contemporaries, including Willem de Kooning, Mark Rothko, and Barnett Newman, benefited from the attention Pollock's groundbreaking achievements brought to the movement. If you enjoyed this journey into the life and legacy of Jackson Pollock, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with others who love art as much as you do. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories about iconic figures who shaped our world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Welcome to this captivating journey into the life of one of history's most enigmatic artists, Vincent van Gogh. From his humble beginnings in a quiet Dutch village to his posthumous rise as a pioneer of modern art, Van Gogh's story is a tale of passion, struggle, and artistic brilliance. Today, we delve into the life of a man whose art speaks louder than words, whose legacy endures despite a life marked by hardship and obscurity. Early life: Vincent Willem van Gogh was born on March 30th, 1853, in Zundert, a quaint village in the southern Netherlands. The eldest of 6 children, Vincent's family was deeply rooted in faith. His father, Theodorus, was a Protestant minister, and his mother, Anna Cornelia, a homemaker who nurtured a love for nature that would later influence Vincent's art. Vincent's childhood was a mix of joy and introspection. While he had a strong bond with his siblings, it was Theo, his younger brother, who became his lifelong confidant. The letters exchanged between them remain some of the most profound documents of his life, offering a glimpse into his innermost thoughts and struggles. Despite a happy childhood, Vincent's education was sporadic. He attended local schools and a boarding school, but failed to find his true calling. His introspective nature and lack of direction often left him feeling adrift. Early career struggles. At 16, Vincent began working at Goupil & Cie, an art dealership where his uncle was a partner. This seemed like a natural fit for someone from a family with artistic ties. However, his transfer to the London branch in 1873 marked the start of a downward spiral. In London, Vincent fell in love with Eugénie Loyer, the daughter of his landlady. When she rejected his proposal, he sank into a deep depression, further fueling his disinterest in his work. By 1876, he left Goupil & Cie and embarked on a spiritual quest, seeking solace in religion. Vincent's aspirations to become a clergyman mirrored his father's vocation. However, his unconventional approach and fervent desire to help the underprivileged alienated many. His time as an evangelist in Belgium's Borinage coal mining region was particularly harsh. Living among miners in poverty, he sacrificed his own well-being to help them. But his efforts were deemed too radical, leading to his dismissal. Turning to art, amidst despair, Vincent found a new calling: art. Encouraged by Theo, he decided to channel his emotions and observations into drawings and paintings. He once wrote, "What would life be if we had no courage to attempt anything?" This marked the beginning of his artistic journey. Vincent was a novice but possessed an unyielding determination. His early works were crude but heartfelt, capturing the raw essence of human life. Theo, now working at an art gallery in Paris, supported Vincent financially and emotionally, encouraging him to refine his skills. The artistic journey begins. Vincent's early works, like The Potato Eaters, 1885, reflected his fascination with peasant life. Influenced by the realism of Jean-François Millet, his art depicted the harsh realities of rural existence. However, his dark palette and somber themes were out of sync with contemporary art trends. Seeking formal training, Vincent moved to The Hague and studied under Anton Mauve, who introduced him to oil painting. However, Vincent's tumultuous personal life, including his controversial relationship with Cian Hornick, strained their mentorship. A new chapter in Paris. In 1886, Vincent moved to Paris to live with Theo. Immersed in the city's vibrant art scene, he encountered impressionists like Monet and Renoir, whose innovative use of light and color profoundly influenced him. He also discovered Japanese prints, which inspired the bold outlines and flat color planes that became hallmarks of his style. Vincent's work began to evolve. He brightened his palette, experimented with brush strokes, and developed a unique style that blended emotional intensity with vivid imagery. During this time, he befriended artists like Paul Gauguin and Émile Bernard, whose ideas further shaped his artistic vision. Arles and the quest for artistic fulfillment. In 1888, Vincent moved to Arles in southern France, seeking inspiration in the region's vibrant landscapes. Here, he produced some of his most iconic works, including Sunflowers and the Starry Night. His art became a vivid expression of his emotional depth and connection to nature. Vincent envisioned Arles as a haven for artists and persuaded Paul Gauguin to join him. However, their collaboration ended disastrously. Amid mounting tensions and Vincent's deteriorating mental health, he famously cut off part of his ear. This incident marked a turning point in his life, underscoring his struggle with psychosis. Life in the asylum. In 1889, Vincent admitted himself to the Saint-Paul-de-Moselle Asylum in Saint-Rémy, a former monastery turned mental health institution. This marked a challenging period in his life, yet it also became one of his most productive phases artistically. Within the asylum, Vincent found solace in painting, channeling his emotions into vivid works that reflected both his inner struggles and the beauty of his surroundings. During his stay, Vincent created over 150 paintings, including masterpieces like Irises and the Starry Night. He often painted the asylum's gardens, the view from his window, and the surrounding countryside, transforming everyday sights into breathtaking expressions of color and movement. Despite his confinement, Vincent's creative output was a testament to his resilience and his ability to find beauty even in adversity. Though his health fluctuated, Vincent began to receive some recognition for his work. In 1890, a glowing review by art critic Albert Aurier described him as a genius and praised the emotional depth of his paintings. This acknowledgement, though limited, provided a brief but meaningful validation of his artistic vision. Final days in Auvers-sur-Oise. In May 1890, Vincent moved to Auvers-sur-Oise, a village near Paris, to be closer to Theo. There, he was under the care of Dr. Paul Gachet, a physician with an interest in art who became a confidant and subject of one of Vincent's portraits. Over the course of just 2 months, Vincent created more than 70 paintings, including Wheatfield with crows and the church at Auvers. Despite this remarkable output, Vincent's mental health remained fragile. The haunting intensity of his final works, such as Wheatfield with Crows, has often been interpreted as a reflection of his inner despair. On July 27, 1890, Vincent sustained a gunshot wound to the stomach while in a wheat field. He died 2 days later at the age of 37. His death has long been considered a suicide, but recent theories suggest it might have been an accidental shooting by local youths. Legacy and impact. The death of Vincent van Gogh left his brother Theo devastated. Already in poor health, Theo passed away just 6 months later, leaving behind his wife Johanna van Gogh Bonga. Johanna took on the monumental task of preserving Vincent's legacy, meticulously organizing his letters and promoting his art. Vincent's life story is a testament to resilience, creativity, and the enduring power of art to connect with the human spirit. Though he never achieved fame during his lifetime, his work now transcends cultural and temporal boundaries, continuing to inspire millions. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Vincent van Gogh's extraordinary life. If his story moved you as much as it inspires us, please like this video and subscribe for more fascinating biographies. Joan Miró is a name synonymous with artistic innovation, captivating creativity, and the bold exploration of color, form, and imagination. Born in 1893 in Barcelona, his journey from a young, uncertain artist to one of the leading figures of 20th century modernism is nothing short of extraordinary. Miró's unique ability to blend abstraction, surrealism, and Catalan heritage into his work changed the landscape of art forever. In this video, we'll take a deep dive into the life, influences, and evolution of Joan Miró, understanding how his work continues to inspire generations of artists and art lovers alike. Early life and education. Joan Miró Ferrer was born on April 20th, 1893, in Barcelona, Spain, into a middle-class family. His father, a watchmaker, and his mother, a goldsmith, provided him with a nurturing environment. As a child, Miró exhibited an early interest in drawing, although his parents initially hoped he would pursue a more conventional career. In his early years, he attended the business school at the suggestion of his father, but his passion for art led him to the School of Fine Arts La Lonja in 1911. At La Lonja, Miró's talent began to flourish. His teachers encouraged him to combine his interests in modern techniques and Catalan culture, which would become a hallmark of his work throughout his life. During this period, he was also exposed to the traditional art forms of Catalonia, which influenced his unique artistic language. Struggles and artistic awakening. Miró's journey as an artist was not without struggle. After studying at La Lonja, he took a job as an accounting clerk in 1917, an occupation his parents thought would offer financial security. However, the experience took a toll on his health, and Miró soon fell ill, which led him to reconsider his career path. The illness was a turning point for him, allowing him to leave the office job and focus fully on his art. Miró spent time at the Montreuil farm, located in the Catalonian countryside, which became an artistic sanctuary for him. Here, the simplicity and beauty of the rural landscape sparked his creativity. This period allowed him to immerse himself in the natural world, which would become a central theme in his later works. His exposure to avant-garde movements such as Fauvism and Cubism during this time also significantly influenced his visual language. Influence of Surrealism and Parisian connection. In 1919, Miró moved to Paris, the epicenter of the avant-garde art world, where he met many significant artists, including Picasso and Dadaist Francis Picabia. These encounters exposed him to new artistic possibilities, and he soon became involved in the Surrealist movement. The Surrealists, led by André Breton, focused on expressing the unconscious mind through art, and Miró was captivated by their exploration of dreams, emotions, and the irrational. He found a deep connection to Surrealism's emphasis on spontaneity and the subconscious. Miró's paintings from the 1920s reflected this new direction, characterized by abstract shapes and biomorphic forms. He began incorporating dreamlike imagery into his works, often evoking strange, mystical creatures and abstract depictions of human figures. His shift toward abstraction marked a new era in his career, as he broke away from traditional representation and sought to capture the essence of his inner world. Mature style and Catalan roots. By the late 1920s, Miró's style had matured and evolved into a unique fusion of abstraction and his Catalan heritage. Drawing inspiration from the folk art of his native Catalonia, he began to incorporate elements of Catalan traditions into his work. Miró also looked to the simplicity of medieval art and the expressive forms of Romanesque murals. His paintings became more geometric and minimalistic, yet retained a sense of organic movement. This period saw Miró develop his distinctive use of symbols and his embrace of childlike spontaneity, qualities that would become central to his visual identity. His works often featured simple shapes like stars, moons, birds, and eyes, which he imbued with symbolic meanings. His involvement in the Surrealist movement intensified during the 1930s as he collaborated with renowned artists such as Max Ernst and René Magritte. Struggles and new approaches, 1930s. The political climate in Spain during the 1930s had a profound effect on Miró's art. The rise of fascism and the Spanish Civil War filled him with a sense of urgency and despair, which was reflected in the darker tones and violent imagery in his work. As Miro's art began to take on more unsettling and distorted forms, he also experimented with new techniques. The use of collage, incorporating newspaper clippings and other materials into his paintings, added a layer of complexity to his compositions. This period marked a radical shift in Miro's approach to art as he moved away from traditional methods and embraced an innovative, experimental style. His works became increasingly abstract, focusing on chaotic emotional expression, often conveying a sense of turmoil and unrest. World War II and the cosmic exploration. When World War II broke out, Miró chose to remain in Spain, despite the challenges posed by the war and the Franco regime. During this time, he focused on a more personal and introspective form of artistic expression. One of the most notable shifts in his work during this period was his exploration of the cosmos. Miro's Constellations series, created in the early 1940s, featured complex, vibrant patterns that resembled star formations and cosmic landscapes. These works, characterized by their rhythmic lines and symbolic shapes, reflected Miro's fascination with the universe and the spiritual realm. His use of color, particularly bright, contrasting tones, created a sense of energy and movement, evoking the dynamism of the cosmos. Additionally, Miró expanded his artistic range during this period, exploring new media such as engraving and ceramics, as well as incorporating elements of surrealism into his sculptures. Post-war fame and innovation in multiple mediums. After the war, Miró's reputation as a leading figure in the art world grew rapidly. He achieved international acclaim, particularly in the United States, where his work was featured in major exhibitions. The 1950s marked a period of immense creativity for Miró. He continued to experiment with various media, including ceramics, sculpture, and printmaking. His ceramic work, created in collaboration with Catalan artist Josep Llorens i Artigas, gained significant recognition for its bold, vibrant colors and sculptural forms. One of Miró's most famous projects from this time was the large ceramic mural he created for UNESCO's headquarters in Paris, which became an iconic symbol of his style. Miró's ability to balance spontaneity with precision and his experimentation with new forms and techniques cemented his place among the most innovative artists of the 20th century. Experimentation and lasting legacy. In his later years, Miró continued to push the boundaries of artistic expression. As he aged, his work became even more minimalistic and abstract, focusing on the purity of form and color. Joan Miró's art proves that imagination has no boundaries. His legacy still sparks creativity across generations. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe for more. Stay tuned for the next artistic journey.
Damien Hirst, one of the most celebrated and controversial artists of our time. From preserved sharks to diamond-encrusted skulls, his work blurs the line between art and science, life and death. Known for his provocative style,
it's funny that in art people say your work's sensational and it's a negative thing, whereas in life, or if somebody said you look sensational, you're not going to be upset by that, are you?
Hirst rose to fame as part of the young British artists, challenging the very idea of what art can be. With groundbreaking exhibitions like the Doha Retrospective, featuring over 90 works, Hirst's journey is one of constant reinvention and bold creativity. Stay tuned as we explore the life, art, and legacy of the man who redefined contemporary art. His exhibitions, which often provoke intense debate and elicit strong reactions, have cemented his status as one of the most influential figures in the art world. Early life and career beginnings. Damien Hirst was born in Bristol, England in 1965 and grew up in Leeds. His early fascination with life, death, and the human condition became central themes in his art.
You were a young British artist. What are you now, Damien?
Old British artist, how about that?
Hirst rose to prominence in the late 1980s as a member of the Young British Artists, YBAs, a group of creatives known for their provocative and conceptual approach to art. His works quickly garnered attention for their audacity and depth, challenging traditional notions of what art could be.
The shark. It has been described as the defining piece of the YBA movement. Did you have any idea when you were creating it would have such an impact?
I mean, I've made artwork that doesn't do what it says on the tin, and I've made artwork that does.
Breakthrough, the Shark series. Hirst's Shark series remains one of his most iconic contributions to contemporary art. The series began with The Physical Impossibility of Death in the Mind of Someone Living, 1991, featuring a preserved tiger shark suspended in formaldehyde. The piece was inspired by Hirst's fascination with fear and mortality. "I wanted to create something that would give people a physical reaction," Hirst explained. The sight of a massive shark in a gallery, appearing both menacing and vulnerable, evoked intense emotions in viewers. In his latest exhibition in Doha, Hirst unveiled Leviathan, the largest piece in the series to date. This 6.8-meter-long basking shark, preserved in a tank of 60,000 liters of formaldehyde, is a testament to Hirst's continued exploration of life and death.
On the inside, looking out, I'm standing in one of the tanks for Damien Hirst's Mother and Child Divided. Happily, there's no formaldehyde. Both the tanks and their normal occupants have to be prepared for their journey to Paris.
The artwork's title, inspired by Thomas Hobbes's book Leviathan, reflects on the unknown, the murky depths of the sea, and the human psyche. Conceptual Art and the Natural History series. Hirst's fascination with the intersection of science and art is evident in his Natural History series, often described as a zoo of dead animals in formaldehyde. These works blur the line between life and death, challenging viewers to confront mortality. One of his earliest and most influential pieces in this series, 1,000 Years, 1990,
art to chase, not using the art to chase the money, using the money to chase the art, which I think is great. You know, your motivation's got to be art, not money.
encapsulates a complete life cycle. The work features a glass cabinet divided into two sections. One side contains a decaying cow's head that attracts flies, while the other houses an insect killer. The randomness and inevitability of life and death are laid bare, compelling audiences to reflect on their own existence. The evolution of Damien Hirst's art. Hirst's career spans nearly 3 decades, marked by constant reinvention and a willingness to push boundaries. His retrospective exhibition in Doha is the largest of his career, featuring over 90 works that showcase his artistic journey. From large-scale installations to intricate sculptures, each piece is meticulously crafted to evoke powerful emotions and spark dialogue. Among the most striking installations is Pharmacy, a work that transforms a gallery space into a life-sized pharmaceutical store.
Like doing that painting, I've had medicine cabinets installed, and you go in there and they've, you know, and I want it to look like a medicine cabinet, and they've kind of done it all flat and level and organised, and it's just not convincing.
This piece explores the faith we place in medicine and its promise of immortality. Hirst's use of minimalism in Pharmacy is deliberate, creating an environment that is both sterile and seductive. Another hallmark of Hirst's oeuvre is his spot paintings, which began in 1986. These colorful, geometric works convey a sense of order and happiness, yet their simplicity masks deeper questions about desire and beauty. "I think art should always be beautiful," Hirst stated, emphasizing his belief in the power of visual aesthetics to engage audiences. The Diamond Skulls, Exploring Mortality and Wealth.
Entitled For the Love of God and for Heaven's Sake, these skulls are being exhibited together for the first time.
In 2007, Hirst created one of his most ambitious works, For the Love of God. This platinum skull, encrusted with 8,601 flawless diamonds, represents the ultimate intersection of art, wealth, and mortality. Hirst described the work as an attempt to confront death by decorating it, a reflection on humanity's flawed aspirations. Later, Hirst created For Heaven's Sake, a smaller skull cast in platinum and encrusted with pink diamonds. This piece, even more valuable than its predecessor, challenges viewers to consider the relationship between materialism and mortality. Despite criticism that such works prioritize wealth over art, Hirst defends their deeper meaning. For something to be art, it's got to be about more than money. Engaging audiences and creating dialogue. Hirst's ability to provoke dialogue is central to his success. His works, whether loved or criticized, elicit strong reactions that keep audiences engaged. Mixed feelings are good, Hirst remarked. If people are discussing it, it means it has energy. The recent exhibition in Doha exemplifies this philosophy. Local students and university groups were invited to experience the artworks firsthand, fostering discussions about the themes of life, death, and belief systems. The impact of Damien Hirst. Damien Hirst's influence extends beyond the art world. His works have entered popular culture, challenging societal norms and encouraging audiences to question their values. By integrating science, philosophy, and aesthetics, Hirst has redefined contemporary art. The Doha retrospective, which drew over 10,000 visitors in its first 2 weeks, is a testament to Hirst's enduring appeal. Reflecting on the exhibition, Hirst expressed pride in his achievements. "It's the best job I've ever done. I hope everybody loves it." Damien Hirst's career is a journey of exploration and innovation. From preserved sharks to diamond-encrusted skulls, his works challenge our perceptions of art and life. Hirst's ability to provoke thought and elicit emotion ensures his place as a cornerstone of contemporary art history. If you enjoyed this biography, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the lives and works of iconic artists.